Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear people, welcome everyone. So, we are now entering in a new month, which is the month of Rajab, which is a very powerful month, very powerful moon. And we said already, how is this month? So, this time I would like to speak about something very different, which is how the field around us reacts to us. Now, how these structures are coming in contact with us, what we call the subatomic structures, the subtle field, which is actually the most powerful field. It is everything which comes as a force to us is in this field. It influences us permanently. It is always around us, and this is why it is called in physics often also the God field. They call it with many names, but one is the God field, the zero field, the this field. So it is a presence which we might not feel always, but it always interacts with us. Yeah. And the way it interacts with us, it is good to know that, because you can make your own experiments, you can make your own researches on it, and you will find out that it really works, that it is there, and that it responds to you. So as a first thing, when we come in this world as a baby, then the field is very, very loving, because the baby has no resistance. The baby is just open. It is just there to receive. It doesn't send any kind of resistance. So the result of that is that there is a beautiful, loving reaction from the field towards the baby. And so when we come in a house, for example, where there is a newborn baby, you feel the atmosphere is completely different. It's very beautiful, it's very fine. The same happens when you come into a temple, a mosque, a church, or a place where people try to practice some devotion. If after hundreds of years, and there are places like this, they are hundreds of years, even thousands of years old, if you reach to such a place, you find a very intense field, a very intense situation, a loving situation, beautiful situation, and you feel touched by it. And usually what it does, it brings you inside, and it makes you calmer, or it makes you more peaceful, or it makes you even to cry. It depends. So you can produce this field also in your own home. Now the way to do that is simply that you try to be with as least resistance as possible. So when you create a room, for example, you have a prayer room, right? Or a meditation room. And every time you go to this room and you say, as long as I'm in this room, I will try to be as happy as possible. I will try to be as relaxed as possible, as calm as possible. And you meditate there in the level you have, in the level you can, you pray there. Then over time, it will accumulate. It will stay in this room sweet. It will stay powerful. So you have to understand that everything in this field has colors also, has shapes. And the first shape which it creates is little circles. And the circles are having all the colors. They have the rainbow colors. So when we see a rainbow, Yeah, we feel happy. Why do we feel happy when we see a rainbow? Yeah, it is simply because we have the knowledge about the deepest structure of our creation. We are a part of this creation, so of course that's why we have a knowledge. So when we feel this field, when we make ourselves available for it, then we understand how it reacts to us. And it touches us usually with a curious friendliness. It's very friendly, it's very loving, and it is curious about us. It is curious about every one of us. There is not a person who can be in that field that the field doesn't react on it. So when you feel lonely or you feel like there is nobody with you, this field is always with you. It cannot be away from you. And when it is with you, it is always in a very loving way first coming to you. But if you resist, if you are angry, for example, if you are aggressive, then these beautiful soft balls, these beautiful soft rings, they turn into spikes. They become like stinches, and they start to stinch you. They start to press you and to make you to feel very uncomfortable. Now we are talking about a very subtle level. This is why you don't feel the stinches, but you feel the pressure. You feel that there is something against you, right? And that something against is not the field, because the field is absolutely neutral. It's lovingly neutral. But when we resist, when we bring out negativity in our life, when we have anger, when we have sadness, when we have depressions, then the field starts to press us, to squeeze us, to somehow come with a power. And as a reaction, often people become even more aggressive or become more depressed, and that's something you should avoid by any means. So there is a permanent interaction. You cannot avoid that. It is not something that we can step out of it. There is not a place in the whole universe and beyond the universe. There is no dimension where that field is not present. So to become aware of it means that you understand the way it interacts and make your own experiments. Try, for example, for 1 hour when you go out, to be really someone who tries to be really, really happy as much as you can. Not thinking against anybody, not thinking about anybody, actually, if you can. Just connect with what is actually around you and have a positive connection with it. Whatever houses you see, whatever trees you see, or whatever you see, you don't divide it. And this is a good thing, this is a bad thing, this is an ugly thing, this is a beautiful thing. You look at everything with a friendly intention, with a friendly attitude. And then look what will happen to you. Look the way you feel. So it is not something you create inside of you. It is not your own creation. It is always the reaction of the field towards us, which gives us emotions and gives us heaviness or lightness, because this field is dominant and we are not separated from it. We see our skin as the last barrier. No, that's what we call our body. We have our body and we think our body is just separate from everything else. No, but look at it in a subatomic way. So all the forms dissolve in that area and they interact permanently with each other. This is the reality. The other thing is just an optical illusion, yeah, that we have a mass and that we are separate, yeah, from all that field, from any subatomic structure. You cannot be separate from it. It is permanently going and interacting.